I'm finally out again. Finally got some dry weather. For the last like 3 weeks at least, it's just been pouring down every single day. So I haven't really been inclined to come out here, if only because I don't want the camera to get wet, and everything was saturated, just constantly pouring down. It'd have been a nightmare trying to get my gear set up and everything. Even before I could get a tarp up to shelter myself, I'd be saturated. So I just haven't wanted to do it. Not only that, but I hate filming on grey days, because for me personally, when I look back on my own videos and when I look at other people's outdoor videos, I like seeing it being nice and blue and sunny and warm, especially if in winter you're sitting there watching them. It's just nice seeing the summer. So I don't really like to film too much on grey overcast days, because I hate grey skies. It's just so boring. You know, one of the wonderful things about the seasons and the different times of day is that you've got all the different light levels, all the different colours in the skies, all the pinks and purples and oranges. Whereas on a grey day, it's just grey, you know, morning, noon and night, just grey. A grey July day is really no different to a grey January day. I absolutely hate it. So I just don't like that in the background of my videos, but it's not too bad today. It's kind of 50-50 grey clouds and blue sky, so definitely thought I wanted to make the most of it. If any of you have seen my Christmas camp out video from late last year, this is where I came for that. So this is only the second time I've camped here, and I've been wanting to come back here all summer just to see what it's like. Now last year, September, October, even through to December were beautiful, really dry, warm, hot, sunny. Like I say, with that Christmas video, I was down to a t-shirt, and that was in mid-December. But this year it's been a really rubbish summer in England. There's my pack on the outside here. I've got a couple of different water containers. I've got a bottle there I got from Tesco's. It's only like £1.50 on offer. And then I've got this hydration pack, which you can wear on your back when you're cycling or running or whatever. It holds 2 litres of water, but I've just attached it to the back of my rucksack to give me a bit more storage space for water, because I brought a shower with me this time to try out, so I needed extra water to use in that. Also brought with me a hammock. Now, loads of people swear by these, but I've just never been interested in it for some reason. But then about a month ago, something just clicked in my head, and I decided, oh, I want to try a hammock out. So I bought one, ordered one that day, and this will be my first time trying it out. I've never put it up before, never used it, so you're going to see me kind of struggling with this. God knows how it'll turn out, but hopefully I'll get it up all right and it won't end up collapsing in the night. And this is the little camp shower I've bought. I've had it for a while, but I've never really used it. But I hate getting into my tent or my sleeping bag feeling grubby and sticky. I just can't get comfortable like that. So I thought, might as well try it out since I've got it, see if it makes any difference. I'm giving myself a proper wash before going to bed and hopefully get a more comfortable night's sleep. Now, I bought 2 sleeping bags with me today. One is just an old cheap one I got for when I went travelling around hot countries and just wanted to make sure I had an extra one with me. But that one I can use to lay on to kind of insulate me on the bottom of the hammock to stop cold getting in through the bottom. And then my main decent sleeping bag I'll use to actually sleep in. I also bought this ground sheet with me, which I tend to bring with me just to use as kind of a workstation, so I can open this out on the ground and keep my gear dry. But it's also going to double for me if it does look like it's going to rain. I can set this up over the top of the hammock to keep me dry and give me a bit of shelter. But I think it's going to be all right tonight, so hopefully I won't have to use it. So I quite like the idea of just looking up at the stars since I'm going to be in a hammock. I'm not sure if it will be the right amount of distance between those 2 trees either side there, or if they're even strong enough, because they're quite thin. Well, this one here is definitely thick enough. More that one there. Then there's one behind it I could use if it was stretched that far. Should do. So I think probably here. There's only little thin bits sticking up, nothing that's going to impale me if the thing collapses underneath me. Bit of a hard surface there though. It'd be nice if it was just more cushioned underneath me, because if I fall off here I'm going to hit this hard stump Fortunately my tripod's not higher, so it's going to have to be kind of a up angle at what I'm doing here, but I tied this strap in a knot already. I can put around here, and all I've got to do is slide this bit through here, put that on there, and then that should tighten enough to hold. Don't ask me what type of knot these are, I just copied them from offline. I did a survival course a few years ago, and it's quite comprehensive on knots, but it just goes in one ear out the other for me. Knots and maths are two things that I just can't retain. I managed to retain my maths long enough to get through the A-level exam, and literally a week later it was all gone. I could remember none of it. I would not have been able to pass that exam a week after I did. Not so that's the same with knots, but just to give you some idea. Oops. But just to give you some idea there. I think I got it up all right. Basically did the same thing, obviously, this end here as I did the other. It's around the tree there. There's a couple more lines I can put up going across the top there to hold the insect net up, which I might as well do now. Just got to try and untangle this paracord. It all came with it. Hopefully it'll be strong enough. It smells beautiful out here. It didn't smell this good in December. I guess it's just the end of summer spell, but the pine smells gorgeous. Really strong whiff of it. Right, here we go. I've actually got it up. I'm actually really pleased with myself. I know people who go hammock camping all the time are just going to think this is silly, but I'm actually really excited that I managed to get this up so easily. But as long as you've got the knots sorted, it's actually really easy. It's just making sure you've got the right knots on each end. Of course, I haven't actually tested it out yet, so moment of truth now. Let's see if this just collapses and kills me. I've no idea how to even get in it. Probably could have done with putting it a bit higher. Not quite touching the ground, but almost. My first time in a hammock, witnessing my loss of hammock virginity. It is actually really comfortable. I mean, I've only been in it for a few seconds to be fair, but it does feel really nice. This is actually really cool. I don't know why I haven't done this before. It's the view over the top of me. Didn't look like there were any kind of dead branches that are going to fall on me in the night. But man, this is so relaxing. Well, now I've set up my sleeping area, I want to set up my shower area. Now the idea with this is that you're supposed to fill it with water and then leave it out in the sun, and the black absorbs the heat of the sun and warms the water up. But when I tried it before, I left it out there for a good hour or two and it got the water kind of lukewarm, and that was about it. You know, English summer just isn't reliable enough, let alone in any other time of the year. Not only that, but if you're out camping and you're in the woods, you're going to have to constantly keep moving this every hour to get out of the shade from where the sun's moving around and the trees end up shading it. So it's far easier to just boil some water on the stove and put in there. That's what I'm going to do anyway. And I've got it hanging up there now. I haven't got any water in it yet, but this pipe that leads down to the shower nozzle is far too long, because that's as high as I can get it to hang, and that shower nozzle comes down to about my waist area. So I'm going to cut this pipe down so that it's only going down to about there, because we don't need it any longer than that, so I can actually stand underneath it. Got the pocket stove with me as usual with my Yugoslavian mess kit. It's my favourite cook set now. So I'll set this up and boil some water for the shower. I'm sure most of you have seen this already, but it's really easy to put together. Using the old Bear Grylls firelighter. Never been all that taken with Bear's stuff, but this firelighter does work really well. Just a load of old lint from the tumble dryer in there I use for tinder, and a metal tin that had, I don't know, some spice or something in it I got. That works well to store that in. Just wait for that to boil now. This bottle I got is pretty good. It's supposed to be free of all the chemicals and things that you get in plastic bottles that people worry about leaching into the water and all that. I mean, PBAs or something like that they're called. Got a straw in it which you can take off, because I find it weird sucking out of water bottles. I just can't get used to it. So I'll probably take that straw out of there so I can just pour it. But it came with the Caribbean, a clip that goes on there, so I just had it attached to the outside of my pack. It's not a bad little bottle. They're usually about £5–6, but they put the wrong price on them by accident, so I managed to get it really cheap for like £1.50, but I don't think you'd normally be able to get them that cheap, unfortunately. They're about £5 at Tesco's Summit. Alright, that's bubbling away now, so that's definitely hot enough. I'll mix it in with some cold water as well in the shower, so it's not too hot. Right, so now I'm going to try and empty the water out of this water bladder into the shower, and then I'll add the boiling water to it, and that should hopefully make it a comfortable enough temperature. I tried to do it through the nozzle here, but it only comes out in dribs and drabs if you have to suck it to get it out, so it won't work. So I'll have to try and pour it this way, which is probably going to end up spilling most of it. Another thing, this shower, it's pretty awkward, and it's supposed to hold like 20 litres. Well, you're not going to carry 20 litres with you on your back, so it could be that there's just not going to be enough pressure here to get the shower to really work properly. Oh, my arm's in the way, see? So my arm's probably been in the way for all of that, but it's hard to get the right angle without my arm being there. Not that it's that exciting to watch, just me pouring some water in here, but just to give you an idea of how I'm getting the shower to work. Right, I've got about 3 litres of water in there now, so hopefully that will be enough to give it a decent amount of water pressure. So without making this too homoerotic, I'm now going to try out this shower. So it's coming out there at a decent enough rate. It's not really showering out, it's more of just a dribble out, but it's decent enough. It feels warm enough. This could do being a bit hard, but that'll do. It's coming out there at quite a rate. I probably shouldn't waste it, but yeah, so it comes out there at a decent enough rate, but it's just not spraying out like a shower. It's more just dribbling out like a tap half turned on. Okay, so that's that done. It's actually quite nice. I bought this is a microfiber towel. I'm sure anyone who's been camping before, it's Euro Hikes the make. They're pretty good actually. I mean, I've used one of these for 2 weeks straight. It was pretty much the only towel I had, and it worked fine. It seems to strangely dry itself out as well. So I really swear by microfiber towels if you're camping or travelling or anything, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. I kept worrying that someone was going to wander through here and see me naked in the woods and wonder why I'm filming myself, and I don't know how I'd explain that away. So I've got quite a nice little camp set up now. Got a shower area over here. Got kitchen area over here. And then sleeping area over there. I've got a couple of knives on me. I've got this Bear Grylls one. It's a paracord knife, fixed blade, which I've never really used all that much, but I managed to get it cheap. It's not a bad knife actually, though. It's very solid, very nice metal that it's made of. It sharpens easily. That's in just like a Kydex sheath. Clips in there, and then I've got, thought I'd go with the theme, so I've got a Bear Grylls kind of pocket scout knife as well, which is, I also find quite nice. The handle feels a bit cheap on it, but the blade itself's nice. Just give you a closer look there at that. I'm sure you've all seen these before anyway, they're pretty common. But not that I've particularly needed to use them other than to cut the hose on that shower, but I thought I might also need them to cut the cords on the hammock in case I needed to shorten them or whatever, the paracord that holds the insect net up. I bought a couple of new toys with me. These are just kind of cheap acquisitions off of eBay, about, you know, £1, £1.50 each, gizmos that you see on there. I thought I'd give a go. Now the first one here is basically a knockoff of the Bear Grylls fire starter. It's a very similar design. On the outside it's got just Survive written at the top there, so there's no real brand name to it, but it's got some different signals and things on the outside, which is quite useful. Morse code and whatnot, SOS. And on the end of the lanyard it's got a whistle, but it's a bit pathetic. So it's not too bad actually, but it's not as good as some I've got. And then on this end here, if you press a button, it's got a reasonably bright flashlight on it, which is something the Bear Grylls one doesn't have. Then on the other end here, it's got a compass, which you can see there, and if you open it up, inside there you've got the ferro rod and a striker, but the ferro rod is very thin and tiny, and it's just embedded in a bigger bit of metal, which I think you're supposed to use. You're supposed to scratch a bit off there and light it, like magnesium, but I'm not entirely sure. Personally, I'd rather just have a thick ferro rod. The magnesium you get with these things is usually a bit rubbish anyway, but I think you're supposed to, it does scratch off quite easily. So I may try and see if that works. Then on the end here where you've got the compass, you can unscrew that, and it has another block of magnesium in there. So that can potentially be quite useful. I'll test them out in a minute. If not, you could just put some regular tinder in there, some cotton balls or whatever. Alright, so I'm now going to shave some of these bits of magnesium into this metal plate here, and see if it lights very well. Okay, now I've got quite a little pile in there, so I'll see now if it will light or not. I'll be surprised if it does, because these cheap ones don't tend to work very well, but you never know. Oh, that has lit. Okay, I'm surprised. This has proved me wrong. Now, if I was to add some tinder to that, I'd get a fire going with it. So actually, I'm impressed with this. Okay, I was expecting to give the magnesium the thumbs down, but I mean, it's gone out now, so it didn't last long. But if you had some tinder ready to put on that, that would have lit. So yeah, it's not too bad. And I've got a little bit of tinder here I can just put on there. Let's see. So yeah, I thought I'd give it another go with some tinder at the ready, just to give it a fair trial. And yeah, that does work pretty well. So I actually would recommend this for the sake of like £1.50 or whatever it was I paid for this. For magnesium, ferro rod, the little flashlight on the end of it there, compass. Yeah, okay, I'm surprised that I'm as impressed with this. Even the whistle isn't as bad as I thought it would be either, actually. So obviously I haven't tended to that fire, so it's just gone out, but I mean, if you were actually putting the effort in with that, that would have really worked a treat. So yeah, if you see one of these on eBay, I'd recommend getting one. And just to compare it with the Bear Grylls one there, with the different information that they have on each side. It's pretty much the same stuff, just laid out a bit differently. Both got a whistle on. The Bear Grylls whistle's a bit better, but that one works alright. Obviously the Bear Grylls one doesn't have the compass or the little flashlight on the end. So considering how expensive these ones are in comparison, you're just as well getting one of these cheap ones actually. The other toy I got is this little emergency whistle. Now this also has a flashlight on the end of it. Now, as well as the flashlight, this one also has a compass on it, but it also has a thermometer, which I thought could be quite handy, especially if you're in colder conditions or a colder time of year. You want to make sure you're not getting yourself too cold and exposing yourself to potentially getting hypothermia. It opens up in the middle there, and you've got a mirror, signalling, or even seeing parts of your body to see if you've got ticks or anything, and a magnifying glass in that end that you could potentially try and start a fire with, and that comes off there so that you can use it, and they all clip on. There's a bit of space in there as well. You could put some tinder too, some cotton balls, and that all kind of clips together. like that. I'll just test the whistle out for you. Not a bad whistle. So once again, I think that this was only £1 too, and for the little gizmos in this, I think that's probably worth it as well. Getting pretty dark now, so I've got a lantern here. Put on, it's quite bright. There we go. Just to give you a view from inside here with the fly net. I probably could have done with putting the cords for the fly net a little bit higher, but it doesn't come down into my face or anything. It's only because the camera lens is sticking up a bit. It kind of looks a bit in your face there. It's, yeah, getting pretty dark now. If it weren't in the trees so much, it'd probably seem a bit lighter, but in here. I bought with me one of these lanterns. I did do a video review on these before. I got 2 of them in a set for, I don't know, it was like £14 or something like that. Really great lanterns. They really light up the place well. Take 3 AA batteries, so easy to use. I also, for the sake of it, because it's only £1, I bought a little lantern out of Poundland, which I haven't tried yet, so let's compare the two. This one here, to activate it, you just slide it open and slide it closed to turn it off. With the Poundland one, just turn this one back on a little bit, it slides open like that, but that doesn't actually activate it. Once you've slid it open, there's a button on the back here that turns it on, so if I turn that on now, you can see it's not too bad. It's nowhere near as bright as that one, even though this uses 4 AA batteries, whereas that one only uses 3. So you'd think, if anything, this should be brighter because it's got more power behind it. But actually it's not. But it's not too bad for £1. I'm not too taken with it though, to be honest. Don't know if I'll ever use it now. Not when I've got those ones there anyway, but gives you a bit of a comparison between the two. First night in a hammock. Went too bad. I normally sleep on my stomach a lot, or at least I go to sleep on my stomach, so it's kind of weird being stuck laying on my back all night, but it was comfortable enough. I don't know how it's going to affect me later on in the day if I'm going to start getting aches and pains, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. Still prefer a bed, but yeah, it was alright. Wasn't really too cold, it got a bit chilly at times, but it's definitely a good idea having a sleeping bag underneath me as well as over the top of me, and have my jumper on as well. So, you know, it was alright really. It's been nicer if I'd have done it earlier in the summer, if we'd actually had a decent summer. But yeah, not too bad at all. I did raise it slightly higher before I went to bed as well, just to get it a bit more off the ground. Almost don't want to get out of it, it's quite relaxing just swinging in it back and forth gently, it's quite nice. But I better get going really. It's not that difficult to get out of, in and out of either. You think it would be, but really after the first time you kind of get the hang of it. And it all folds up into this little pouch. The pouch is actually attached to it, So when it's all opened out, the pouch is kind of on the outside, and you could use it to put something in if you wanted. And then when you take it down, you kind of fold it inside itself, and it all fits in to a little pack there. It's easier if you take all the straps off and then put them in after putting the actual hammock itself in, but I'm a bit lazy about it, so I just wrap the straps around it. That does make it harder to pack in there, but I got it all in the end. A lot smaller than a tent and lighter than a tent to carry. Even that little one-man tent that I normally use, which is pretty light, this is even more compact, so yeah, I'll definitely be using this again. I just had some baked beans and sausages, you know, tin stuff for breakfast. I didn't bother filming me having that because you've all seen me cooking beans and sausages before, and I think I'm running out of space on the memory card as well, so I didn't want to eat it up just on that. But yeah, I'm all packed up now and getting ready to go. It's actually really mild today. I thought to start off with it was a bit cool, and it's a lot grayer than yesterday. It's quite overcast today, whereas yesterday we had a reasonable amount of clear skies, but it's really warm. Maybe it's just because I've been busy taking stuff down and packing things away, but I'm really nice and warm now. I'm all packed now, ready to go. I'm kind of sad to be leaving. It's been really good being back out here, actually. Better than I thought it would be. I've really enjoyed it. But I've got to get going, got things to do, so thanks for watching. Oh, before I go as well, the person I bought the lanterns off of that I showed you and that I did a separate review of, I think they're going to give me some kind of deal so you can get, you know, 10% or 20% off if you order it through a link that I'll put in the description below. So keep an eye out for that. I've just got to confirm it, but hopefully by the time I upload this video I'll have like a discount code for you. So if you do like the look of those lanterns, keep an eye on the description and hopefully I can help you out with that. But anyway, thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.